advocacy. My whole thing is speaking out, doing the action, and joining people from all over the world. We actually create local change and global dialogue.
Hello everyone, good afternoon and welcome to Conversations with MM. This is Marivir here in New York. Kamusta na kayo? I hope you're all doing good. We have a very special guest today, a lovely global leader, ladies and gentlemen, and she's no other than Ana Margarita Marques. There she is. Ana Margarita, or Ana, has a lot of roles on her plate. And she's the managing director of Alinis. Is that even Alinis? I have to ask her if I said it right. She's the managing director and co-founder of Aventom Partners, the COO of Women of the World Coaching. She is also the learning programs lead of 5ELK and women's empowerment advocate. Would you believe that? She is half Filipino and half Portuguese. So welcome, Ana. How are you? Thanks for joining me today, Ana.
Thank you for having me. Thanks for having me. I'm good.
So Ana is in UK right now. She's stationed in UK. And tell us about what's going on right now with your advocacy and leadership. I know it's a lot, but just begin with where you love it most. Yeah.
Of course. So I just arrived in the UK about a week ago, and I've spent 6 months in Asia doing a lot of exciting projects with Women of the World and 5ELK in Cebu. We're empowering 450 people in the Philippines to grow and to stay in the Philippines, which is really close to my heart. I've just got to the UK, and I'm focusing on some of the UK businesses and women of the world as well. And I've also just launched some social channels to empower women, especially in Asia, to be more financial literate and educated and to raise the awareness.
Wow. So tell us about this financial awareness platform you're doing. It's how many weeks or months old?
Well, it's only 10 days old, and we've already reached 24,000 views.
Oh my gosh. Congratulations.
There's such a need. Thank you. There's such a need for this conversation. Women have not spoken about this. We were taught to maybe manage the household budget. We weren't taught to invest. We were taught to work really hard and just save. And there's a lot of lack of awareness of how money works. And you know, back in the day, we had to get married for financial security and for our own security. It was only until the 60s or the 70s that women could have bank accounts or own property or invest. And so the narrative of women not being good with money is not true. We were just not given that opportunity. So I really want to raise the awareness. There are so many things that when you work in wealth management and financial services, you learn. And I really want to share that with the world, but especially with Filipino women.
Wow. And it's amazing because you have market there, considering that you're just 10 days old and like it's by the thousands, your viewers, right? Or subscribers, is it?
It's views, so impressions. So in 10 days, especially the prenups. The subject of prenups is very topical in the Philippines right now because there's no divorce in the legal system and the law is really complicated. A lot of people don't understand that side of financial commitment and all the risks. But also, you know, I come from a family of overseas Filipino workers, and I saw a lot of women work super hard, save their money, but then retire in poverty and then depend on the next generation. And I really want to break that cycle.
That's the thing on financial management then, being sustainable, right?
Yes,
Wow.
we
Yeah,
can help our elders and we can help our family with still securing our own future and retirement. It is possible.
that's a wonderful vision of you, Anna. But first, tell us about your background, personal life. Like, were you born in the Philippines or elsewhere? And
I was
yeah,
born in
tell us about that.
I wa- I was born in South Africa. So my
Wow.
mom's Filipino. Yes. My dad is Portuguese. They met in South Africa when my mom was working there. And
Wow.
when I was 2 years old, I moved to Colorado in the
In the
US.
US. Wow. So,
Yeah.
how many siblings do you have, or you have siblings?
I'm an only child.
Oh, you're the only child. And so, how many
Yeah.
years were you in the US?
Me too. And then we moved to Portugal for a little bit, but most of my education was in the UK.
That's amazing. So you were moving around the world so much at a young age. Do you know if it
Yeah.
has some impact on you? Is it good, or is it something that you miss on, like establishing relationships, childhood friendships? Tell us about it.
Honestly, it really had an impact. I lived in 4 continents before I started primary school.
Yeah.
So I was the kid that had to make friends very quickly, but
Mhm.
also I was the kid that never fit in. So I was always different. And so growing
Yeah.
up that way, it made me really aware of thinking how people feel in their own shoes. I don't ever assume anything because I know that everyone's different.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I guess I really value diversity too, because the world is a beautiful place. We're all very different. Some of us might look the same, but we still think differently. And so that
Yeah.
gives me a really good overview of
Mhm.
diversity and being aware of other people, I guess.
Oh my goodness. So where did you finish high school and then college? Which part of the
So
world?
in the UK, and I went to university in the UK, and all of my professional career was in the UK until I started my business 18 months ago. And now I live 6 months in Asia and 6 months in the UK.
Isn't that like a lot of overhead cost on you? Like
Well,
spanning the globe?
yes, I mean, I have family in both continents, and to me, it's really important. And I do talk about this. Financial freedom is not a big salary. It's not a big house. It's about living a life that is
Mhm.
fulfilling to you. And half of my family's in the Philippines, half in Portugal and UK. So
Mhm.
my ideal life is to spend as much time as I can with my family.
Right. So you go to the Philippines and see your mom, or and then in Portugal to see your family and the side of your dad.
So my parents still live in the UK, but my
I
mom comes
see.
to the Philippines often, and her sisters, my cousins, her nieces are all still in the Philippines. And so I see them as much as I can. And I also
I see.
love working with Filipinos.
You do. Do you can
Yes.
you make a comparison, like are you more comfortable with Filipinos or your Portuguese side?
Honestly, I think it's a half-half situation for sure. So
I see.
the Philippines have the warm, definitely, growing up in the UK,
Mm.
and honestly, a lot of Filipinos that grew up in the UK tell me the same thing. So
What
people
is
always say, oh, why are you so happy in the morning? What it's not possible that someone can be always happy. But that's the Filipino
really?
way. Yes, because we're
Oh,
very
that's amazing.
resilient and we're positive. Yeah. And we're always smiling no matter what happens. And that's a Filipino thing. And then on the
Oh,
Portuguese side, I think it's the fun. My family in Portugal are very academic,
I
very
see.
sporty. Yeah. And
Uh-huh.
so there's definitely both sides.
So you have the best of all the worlds.
Well, hopefully.
Wow. So tell me, so in college, or what did you finish? What education did you finish formally?
So I did human biology, and my
Oh,
dream was to my dream was to help people and become a doctor.
I see.
But I didn't go into grad medical school because I went to work in pharma first, and I worked in
Mm-hmm.
research.
Mm-hmm.
But I felt really unhappy because we tested a lot on animals, and
Oh.
it's really against my values. In the
Mm-hmm.
UK, they test on monkeys, on dogs, on mice.
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh.
I ended up pursuing, I was working in research in central government in the UK. Then I ended
Mm-hmm.
up pursuing a career in audit. So I was a central internal audit for the government. And then I went into finance. And this is where I started to get a lot of knowledge. So I worked in private equity for a while.
Uh-huh.
And then working in private equity, when I went into financial services in the UK is really different from the Philippines,
Mm-hmm.
because
Yeah.
people save for investments and, pensions, private pensions. There's a lot of inheritance tax planning. And
Mm-hmm.
it really opened my eyes to the lack of awareness, especially compared to people in the Philippines.
Mm-hmm.
In the Philippines, people live very much for today and tomorrow. Can they eat?
Yeah.
Can they put food on the table? And in the UK, it's very much about retiring early because you have more disposable income. And
Right.
actually, it really opened my eyes to wealth management or financial freedom. It's not just for people that make a lot of money. I've met many people that make millions a year and they still have a lot of stress and they pay for a big house and the big cars.
Right.
But
Right.
actually, the people that were doing the best, so they had the most saved and they were a bit, they had the most financial freedom, were the humble nurses and teachers, because they
Mm-hmm.
lived a simpler life, but they were really intentional about
Mm-hmm.
investing for the future, and they had the right insurance and protection. And so it made me realize that we have the wrong narrative and the wrong mindset in our heads. A lot of Filipinos think that you have to earn a lot of money to be able to, make sure that your kids don't have to work abroad or maybe
Yeah.
make a lot of sacrifices. But that's the wrong idea. And I really want people to know that.
Amazing. I'm interested on how you navigate. Like this must come as a shock to you, like economically how poor most Filipinos are, and on the other hand, the people in Europe or UK, they have substantial resources per family or per individual. So, and now you're telling me or us that it's not about having a lot of resources now, but it's how you really manage it and to sustain that, right?
Yeah.
So, what kind of inputs do you give to our Filipinos in the Philippines? What do they
Yeah.
need?
Yeah.
How do they budget?
It's a really great question. So let me give you an example.
Okay.
Let's say an overseas Filipino worker called Maria. Let's call her Maria.
Mhm.
She goes abroad and she goes for a few years and she saves, and sends most of her money home. And then she comes home. Her contract finishes. She comes home to the Philippines. She has
Yeah.
saved a certain amount of money. And then she doesn't know what to do after because she's just come back. She's maybe bought a house or refurbished her parents' home. It's a very common thing in the Philippines. And
Mhm.
so that money, after years, it's not worth the same, because inflation means that $1 today will be worth 80 cents next year, and even less. And so
Mhm.
that's the problem with a lot of people that think that working and then just saving it, that money devalues. And so that's when you don't have enough money to retire. You then depend on the next generation.
Mm.
Did you know that only 8% of all Filipino women in the Philippines know how to invest?
They have no
It's
idea.
really sad because they have no idea what it means. They feel scared by it. But there are, when you save for a pension, your pension is invested. And so it's invested in a fund and it's beating inflation, which means that your money is growing because it's away. And so you can start with so little. You can start with $200 every month for 10 years and then stop contributing. And if you do that between 25 and 35, you'll retire with over 700,000.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if you would contribute for 30 years when you're older, the compounding means that you will retire with less, contributing for 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
And so there are a lot of tools out there that with little money, you can make sure that you're protected for the future.
Oh, that's great. So how do you but still, like, the economy in the Philippines is like just most of them like hand to mouth, How can
Yes.
somebody, the art of saving is kind of challenging. I know it's an attitude thing. It's not even more on
Yeah.
your availability of resources. So how do you instill discipline among your clients, for example?
Well, I think we're talking mostly about the people that have jobs, right? There's obviously a lot of
Yeah.
poverty. And if you
Yeah.
do have a job, a lot of the mindset is I'm going to pay bills first, then I'm going to spend, then maybe what is left I will save. Then that's the wrong mindset. Number one tip is pay your future self first. We as humans can adjust to our income, and I've seen so many people they adjust their lifestyle the more they get paid. Whether you earn a
Nice.
little
Yeah,
or a
yeah, yeah.
lot, and then you get
They
a pay rise and you just spend more. Yeah,
Yes, and so that's a bad attitude.
exactly. And
Definitely, right?
it and it also has a lot to do with your own relationship with money. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
people don't feel like they deserve it. If you don't feel like you deserve to have a more secure future, you
Mm-hmm.
often then end up spending everything and not being aware.
Mm-hmm. Right, right. Let me ask you about your work on at the. Did I say this correctly? Alignis? Is that how
Yes.
it is said? Okay. So what is this organization or company, Anna?
Yeah. So Alignis is a consultancy firm, and I founded it 18 months ago. And I
Oh, you
help
founded it.
wealth man. Yes. And I help wealth management firms in 4 continents, so all over the world, with
Mm-hmm.
their operations, their compliance, their client experience, and their team and training. And so Alinus is really a company that sees everything behind the scenes of all the wealth managers, the financial advisors. I've worked with companies in the US, I've worked with companies in UK, Spain, Philippines, Australia. And
I
so
see.
I get to see the tricks of the market. I get to see how people plan for clients that have a lot of money or little money.
Mm-hmm. Wow. And then how about this Aventum Partners? Is this also financial?
Yeah, so Avantum Partners is a subscription model, and we help firms when they want to sell their own business. And so
I see.
if a firm wants to sell to a big player, usually private equity, we help them through
Mhm.
that process.
I see. And of course, I know Women of the World Coaching. This is where we met.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yes,
what are
and
you doing right now for WOW?
wow, I mean, Women of the World is I if everyone else that hears from my other roles, I'm sorry in advance, but Women of the World has to be one of my favorite roles. I see
Uh-huh.
the impact so much, and it's really incredible what we're doing. So we provide coaching, virtual programs, which you know about,
Yes.
retreats, so in-person coaching and leadership programs. And I'm the COO. So I really help Isa, the founder,
Yeah.
get work behind the curtain to make sure the operations work well, the programs are being delivered, and really on strategy. So what's coming next, so that we can touch more people and help more people.
Wow. Why do you have this heart? Why are you so much into helping women? What happened?
Well, I
I
think
mean, who inspired you, and what along the way of your young life, why you choose doing
yeah.
this?
So I come from a family, especially in the Philippines. My family in the Philippines are very much the girls stick together. You know, I'm very close with all the women in my family, and
You
I
have
think it's really
cousins?
amazing. Yes, I'm
Okay.
really close with my cousins. I'm really close
Okay.
with my auntie, and my mom is very close to them as well. And I love to see how closeness in women. And I also saw them go through so much and still be strong.
Mm-hmm.
And 2 years ago, more or less, I went through a really painful separation myself. And I
Oh,
realized that in sisterhood and with women that allow you to be vulnerable and support you, you can do
you can talk
anything.
to
You
them.
can, yes, you can have a reset of your life. You can discover what
Oh,
drives you. And I think everyone should have that. And as a woman, as you get older, it's actually harder to make friends because you then have a divide of the people that have kids and people that don't have kids, and people move
yeah.
away and their
Different
priorities
stages.
change. Exactly. And, you know, usually women have less time as well if they're working. If they're not working, then they also have different priorities. And so you end up almost having less friends the more time goes by, but you need more friends, more real friends. And in WOW, you have a community that no matter what, all around the world will give you the safe space and will give you the strength to just get through anything.
Like they're just there. You could go there and they listen to you, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
And you
that's
know,
an
I
important
I
system.
yes, I travel a lot. So over the January to April this year for work,
Mhm.
I took 24 flights. And so I'm in different places. And it's very hard to have friends that way because people's life move on. But with
Right.
WOW,
You
I
move a
meet
lot, so
people.
you cannot have a
Exactly.
established time that you are there for a long time, only short time.
Yeah. But with WOW, I see my WOW sisters everywhere in the
Uh-huh.
world. So I'll meet with someone in Seattle, and I'll meet with someone in New York, and I'll meet with someone in Manila, and you know, in UK. And so that to me is really valuable because I never feel lonely. I always feel supported, and I want everyone to feel like that.
Great, great. So, it's important too that like there's that support system, it's fun and it's safe. That's what
Yeah,
matters. Yeah. So
exactly.
now tell us about this the learning programs of Five Elk. You are the lead for the learning programs. Oh, tell us about Five
Yes.
Elk. I mean, yeah.
So, Five Elk is a company that was born out of purpose as well, which is really
Hmm.
incredible. The founder and CEO
Mm-hmm.
is Australian, is a woman from Australia, and she is really passionate about creating more jobs in the Philippines so that women don't have to leave the country and not see their children grow up. So she
Wow.
started a company with two women, two Filipinos from Cebu. And
Hmm.
actually, today, 10 years later, we have 450 people.
Imagine.
And it's providing financial services support to Australia, New Zealand, UK, and Europe. And so I really help with the training, projects on how can we upskill people, how can we change their mindset to do more and improve
Mhm.
their communication and confidence. And so it's a really amazing team. It really is full circle for me to work with Filipinos. The team is amazing. They're very warm. I have been missing that my whole life because working in UK.
It's
And
so
so
different.
it is so different. It's really amazing. We have really heartfelt conversations, and we are also very professional and high performing. And I think that's a really amazing combination. The
Cool.
empathy of Filipinos is amazing.
So it's not like is this something similar to a BPO, the Five Elk, or it's more specific to an industry?
It is very industry specific for financial services. So
Oh,
professional
okay.
services too. So they have some executive assistants too, but it's very
Mhm.
specific to financial services. And it's basically a BPO at the surface, but it's so beyond that. It's B
Mm.
Corp, it's ISO qualified. And so they do a lot of good things. They do a lot for charity, and they do a lot for the training of their staff. So to be honest, at the surface is BPO, but underneath the surface is a multinational company.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah.
Now, I shift to your cultural heritage, Anna. You live in UK half of the year, I guess, and then somewhere else, and then Philippines also substantially. Aren't you culture shocked, or you're already very comfortable with all the cultures that you work with?
Yes. I think it's a beautiful thing. It definitely takes me a few days to adjust. I spend a lot of time
I
in
see.
Singapore too. So between
I see.
Singapore, Philippines, and UK,
Uh-huh.
I really believe that with a lot of change between cultures and ways of working, it makes my problem solving much faster.
I see.
Because,
Like how you coach
yeah,
makes it more efficient.
yes,
And
because change management is really hard. People don't like change, but when your brain always has change, it just makes me a little faster to adapt to situations and more resilient, for sure. So, definitely, I mean, sometimes there are things where I feel, oh, it would be nice to live somewhere,
yeah.
like, for example, having a dog or having a
Yeah.
car, things like that. It doesn't really make sense if you don't live in one place. But
Yeah.
for now, I'm doing such wonderful work, and I get to work with really amazing people that are aligned with my values that, probably this will be my life for a few years. But yeah.
Are you even thinking of like settling down? Typical questions. I don't know if this appeals to young people right now, like getting married or staying in one place and build family. Do you think of that?
Yeah.
How you
I mean,
do?
definitely. So I did live my life a lot around that, and then I got married, and I was very unhappy.
Oh, you
It
were
was
married.
definitely
I didn't know. Okay.
yeah, and so that taught me a lot, and it taught me a lot that sometimes you're trying to be someone that you're not, and sometimes you're trying to live a life that you think is what you should live. But sometimes when you're really authentic and yourself, your life is more fulfilling.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
now you're living the life.
Yes.
This is it. This is it.
Yes.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so for young people out there, how do you tell them how to navigate, cope with life? Your time right now is so different from the time when I was in my 30s and 40s. It's different. I would like to
Yeah.
believe that it's more challenging now than in our time. Like after college, we had such big dreams, and those dreams did were not kind of blocked because like the environment was still good, economy wasn't so bad. Now it's weird. So what do you say to young people? How do you cope and survive and shine?
Oh, that's a really good question. There are definitely different times,
Yeah.
and we are going through a massive change now with the rise of AI and jobs changing.
Yes.
A lot of the job market is changing. I would say now more than ever, it's important to be human, because a lot of our jobs, the admin jobs will become very automated. And so
Right.
I really would love people to learn to think more rather than do, especially in Asia. We are in Asia, we're raised and educated to do and follow. But now it's the
Yes.
time for
It's a
people to
different
think
culture,
and
right?
lead. Yeah, very cool, very different. And
How do you,
also
yeah, go
20
ahead.
years ago,
Yeah.
20 years ago, the skills that made you succeed were good memory, remembering things. Now you don't have to remember anything. You need to use the tools, right?
Right. Yes, yes. You already have a cell phone that will remind you of your schedules.
Yeah, even if you know something, you will still Google it or still ask AI. And
Mhm.
so we're at a
So
time
different.
now that the skills are different. And so it's really important to adapt to change very
Mhm.
quickly. But it's also important to slow down. things are so fast right now.
I know.
When you slow down, you appreciate the little things in life more. And people are just living this really fast life, and then they get to I get to 38. I'm like, where has the time gone? Yeah, slowing down for sure.
That's a wonderful ideas and suggestions for young people. But before we wrap up, I'd like to circle back first about your parents, your mom. What has she taught you that you have become this wonderful person that you are, and your father? Share to us like how being a multiracial, two races in one person developed, and that's you.
Oh, thank you. That's really kind. So I would say jointly, my mum and dad both have always taught me to give the most to others first. So I was raised Christian, and it was always about caring about others. And that's something that they both instilled at me since very young. And my dad very recently taught me the biggest lesson of my life, which was when I was really, really unhappy in my marriage. I called him crying, and I told him, and I was really scared because, you know what, dad doesn't want his little girl to get divorced.
Yeah.
And I'm an only child. Yeah, and I'm an only child, the only girl. And my dad said, and it really surprised me and touched me, my dad said, the value of a woman is not if she's married or has children. That is not the value of a woman. It's beyond that.
Yes.
And I would love for people
stereotypical.
Exactly. You know, many years ago, we had to do that for our safety, our security, but not anymore. We're human. And so that was the biggest lesson that we had.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
And my mom is just so strong. Yes, she's so strong. She's so resilient, but she's so graceful. You know, she can go through the hardest time. She's going through some health complications right now, but she's still really positive. You know, the really Filipino way. You could have a typhoon or an earthquake, and you're still smiling and still accepting things.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Are you like that, or are you surprised with that? Are you like that too?
I think I'm a little bit like that. Sometimes I think people say that if something's going wrong, I'm too calm or I'm too positive because, you know, if you can't change it, why get stressed? You should worry about the things you can change. And if there's anything I can do to change the things I don't like in the world, then I'm going to do it. But if I can't change them, I can't do them.
Yeah, wonderful. Wonderful attitude. You were raised well. Anna, thank you very much for the time you have given us today, and all the best to your endeavors. I know you're having meaning and fun as well. So thank you for your time. See you again, hopefully in New York or in Cebu or anywhere.
Yeah, thank you so much. Okay. Thank you so much for having me. It was so fun.
Yes, 30 minutes flew, right? Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us tonight. And Miss Anna Marques, she will tell you about financial empowerment. That's very important. So stay tuned. Look out for her blog, and which is on social media, right, Anna?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. So take care of yourselves, ladies and gentlemen, and take care of each other. Bye for now. Thank you, Anna.
Bye.
Bye.
Her feminist perspective, I think that's really where I get it.
You got it from her.
Social justice was so important to her and has become important to me.
We became very mindful of our environment and our planet. And we took baby steps. Of course, everything is about baby steps.
Yeah.
We just had to make our programs bigger and it could reach more people.
Toronto is so culturally diverse because there's so many Filipinos in Toronto. But what I don't like is higher education. There's not a lot of Filipinos. Even higher management, there's not a lot of Filipinos.